Welcome back to the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Today we're going to do our week 12. I think it's week 12 now. Our week 12 game picks. Once you hit at week 10, you're thinking, "Oh man, the season's almost over already." And now we're in week 12. Last week, we both had a fine week. It wasn't great. We both were in the 80s. I think you got me by 5 points. I think it was 86 to 81. So your lead is not shrinking, which is what I need. So this week I'm going to change things up a little bit, and I'll let you see that once we get into it. But first, you look really nice, Lance. Got a nice tie on. I like the way you're dressed, and here I am just in a t-shirt.
Yeah, I kind of wish we could switch rules, Andrew. Not just in the sense of what I'm wearing, but where I'm at. Um, I'm
Hmm.
I'm ready to be home. It's good. I'm still at my work
Hmm.
conference in Salt Lake City. It's good. The room's not bad. I have the pillow. The pillow definitely improved my sleep. Slept. I went from like 3 hours of sleep to 6 hours of sleep. So it's improvement.
That's that's double basically.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the bowling ball pillows. It's
Hmm.
the worst. It's the worst. As you were kind of like kicking things off, I've been trying to. Oh, I think I've got it. Captain Cush or
Okay.
Mr. Stiff and Snuggly. Those aren't bad. Probably Captain Cush is
Interesting.
what I would go with.
It's shorter. It has that quick raw off the tongue kind of name. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it more thought, but yes, I'm coming up with a nickname for my pillow, and we can joke about it since I seem to be going so frequently on trips nowadays.
Hmm.
Oh man, but no, it's all good. It's good. I eventually meet up with my family, and we'll go spend Thanksgiving with um, my in-laws down in Utah, which will be good. And um,
Hmm.
I love the Thanksgiving to Christmas time. Like I really love September to now, but like Thanksgiving to Christmas, that's like
Yeah, that's
it's like my
prime.
it's like my Mario superpower type thing. Like I've
Hmm.
become the gigantic Mario, or I've got the fireballs that I'm just spitting out and everything right now.
Hmm.
It's so nice. I love this time of year. It's so great.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
yeah.
Playoff time's coming around the corner, and that's when things get real.
I really love how football, the length of the seasons, to me, is just perfect. You know, it's so nice. I I'm a jazz fan. We've talked about that. Everyone should know that by now, our, dozens of
Hmm.
listeners. But it, it it's painful being a jazz fan, Andrew. It is just painful. Someone asked me the other night, because I'm down here in Salt Lake, going by the Delta Center, and they're like, "Hey, you gonna go to a jazz game?" And I'm like, why would I go to a why would I go to a jazz game? Like if I was in Philadelphia, Andrew, I would be in trouble because I'd be so focused on like, okay, how can I go by the practice facility and see where the Eagles practice? How can I make
Hmm.
sure to be at the Eagles game? And how many hours can I actually
Hmm.
spend at the game this weekend to be able to go watch everything? Like that is how
Hmm.
crazed I'm now about Eagles football, and like the Jazz. It's just like it has gone off a cliff. I'm still a Jazz fan, and I'll happily admit that to people, but dude, it's brutal, brutal.
Yeah. Yeah. You just gotta hope you guys can get to drafting well.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't see that happening. I think we'll forever be stuck in purgatory. That's what it feels like.
Mm. Mm. Maybe call Malone and say, "Hey, you got a couple more years in you? Just a couple more
John
years."
Stockton, Malone, bring it back, and
Hmm. Hmm.
oh, I mean, we would get tickets sold. I think that you'd get, it'd probably be your
For
best sellout
sure.
for tickets for at least one game, and then after that, maybe no, because it would be just like that. Is that the Doritos commercial where Dan Marino and Emmett Smith come back?
Yeah, and Randy Moss, yeah, and all them, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and none of them look good because they're way too old now.
Ancient. Hmm.
Yeah, ancient is probably the right
But
word
I
for it.
mean, I'm sure Karl Malone probably could put in a few better minutes than some of the guys you guys got on the roster right now.
It's rough, man. I don't understand. To me, it was crazy that they went all in on believing that they were going to get such a high pick. I mean, I understand why they're hopeful, but I'm a pessimist
Hmm.
when it comes to basketball. Like I'm an optimist when it comes to football. I'm a pessimist when it comes to basketball. Like whatever can go wrong for the Jazz will go wrong. That's just how it feels. Um, but
Yeah.
Andrew, before we switch topics, I have to show you something in case. Have you been to the OKC airport recently?
Not recently. It's
So
been a couple years, I think.
I saw this at the airport.
Ah, hmm.
Isn't that
Beautiful.
beautiful?
Beautiful.
It was everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere. Um, like I know we talked about this before that it's probably the biggest event that's happened in Oklahoma in the past 20-ish years, but
Hmm.
the airport reflected it. I mean, I probably saw at least 30 of these types of banners hanging everywhere, like miniature banners too, but
Hmm.
so cool. Cannot believe that they actually pulled it off. So
Yeah,
we
that's
have to
awesome.
focus on a positive.
And they only have one loss so far this year, I think. And I mean,
Oh,
and that loss
yeah.
came on a really crazy comeback from the Trailblazers, I think it was. So they're looking almost better this year than they were last year. They've been without Jalen Williams for most of the year too. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're a great team and props to
Hmm.
them. They've built up their team so well. The Paul
Best
George
GM in the
trade,
league. Best GM
yeah,
in the league.
I won't argue with you on that one. I I would be happy to trade Ainge for probably any GM in the NBA besides. Well, no, that's not true. Nico Harrison would be a for sure no. We would have to get
There you
something
go.
back.
There you go. That's
Well, I
that's the one.
guess
That's
we
the
don't have Nico, so that's a bright
There
side.
you go.
So
Looking at the
congrats, Utah
positive.
Jazz.
Oh man, I don't know if there's a good transition from Nico to football, but we're gonna give it a go. So we're gonna get into this, and like I said, I'm gonna be interesting in this one because we're in week 12 now, and I'm still down like 80 points. So I got to get creative, and I think this is gonna be fun. So let's start here with Thursday night football. I don't think there's any overseas games this week, and I think they're kind of done the rest of the year. I think.
I think you're right. Yeah, I don't think there's anything
I don't
left.
think there's any more overseas. I think they're done now, but we'll see. Um, but Thursday night football is Bills at Texans. CJ Stroud's not going to play again. He's going to miss this game, so it's going to be Davis Mills again. I think this game, honestly, is going to be ugly because Thursday night games are never any fun anyway. They're usually, you can't practice as much, you can't prepare as well. And the Texas defense is legit. Defense wins on Thursday games. So I think this game is going to be kind of like, not going to be super pretty because it's going to be Josh Allen and the okay offense against the elite defense. And then it's going to be Davis Mills and, his offense against a fine defense, but on short week, short preparation. I wouldn't be surprised if this was like a 17-13 game, just yeah. But I don't see any way the Bills are going to lose, which I've said that before, like against the Dolphins, against the Falcons, and then they lose and makes us look silly. But since that Dolphins loss, they have looked like themselves again. They beat the Chiefs before that, and the week after they looked really good. So I am more believing that they're more back than they're fraudulent at this moment. And they picked up their old boy Gabe Davis, so we'll see what he's got left in the tank. Because I really need some wide receiver help. If he could just get on there and give him like 20 routes, a couple catches, that's going to be very helpful. But it's at Houston. Houston's been very feisty, strangely competitive in almost every game. But I think the Bills are going to turn things around. It's not going to be a pretty game, but I got the Bills winning with a confidence of 10.
I am like almost right there with you. Disclaimer, I know in the last time we recorded Andrew for picks that I said that I think it was gonna be either one for win. The Davis Mills factor for me just pushed it to where it's impossible.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
nothing against Davis Mills. It's just the cards are already stacked against him. The issues that they have
Hmm.
offensively are just so significant. I just don't see Mills being able to get over that. But the one thing I will say, this is a perfect trap game for the Bills
Yeah.
because you came off a super big high. You're feeling good.
Hmm.
And I think people need to cool the talk about Josh Allen with MVP talk. Like, you can't get blown out by the Dolphins and then beat the Bucks and now, oh, now we'll bring you back in the conversation. Like, I'm sorry, that's hard for me because, and he still
Hmm.
had two interceptions that were still, there's problems there. Like, I'm not trying to downplay his success. Josh is a great quarterback. And I've actually talked to a lot of
Hmm.
people that have been at this conference because they're from Wyoming or connected to Wyoming, talking about how
Okay.
great he is. And so I give him props for
Hmm.
that. I just, let's slow the brakes. right? Let's see what happens. But you can't lose to the Falcons. You can't lose to the Dolphins. Like you can't blow these games.
Hmm.
Like if Buffalo was playing like a true number one seed, this could be the year to be the number one seed. Like really, it was really paid for them. And that
Hmm.
Patriots game, you should have won that game. You are the better team. I will stand by that for sure. That if the Bills actually show up and play their game, I really believe that they would beat the Patriots 9 times out of 10. And that's nothing against May. That's nothing against the team. I just think that Josh Allen is for sure the better quarterback than May. I think that James Cook is probably having his best season as a player right now. I think. Um, and
Yeah,
so that alone is good for them. I think McDermott's a better coach than Vrabel. So all that to say, I want to
it's
see
close.
I want to see the Bills play better. I want to see them show what they can really do. And
Yes,
last week was like
consistent.
a great like love that. Um, I love that, and um, so let's see what happens moving forward. But I'll give it a confidence 11. But this is my
Okay.
like if there's a game for the week that I'm like starring for upset, watch out. And when I say
Hmm.
upset, it's like more than a 45-55 split. It's like a 70-30 split. So
Hmm.
that's enough talking about that one. I'll get off my Bill
Hmm.
soapbox.
Oh, you're good. I do hear you that this is definitely one of those trappish games because it's Thursday night football. Those are always weird games anyway. And Josh Allen's playing the second best defense in the league to the Broncos, and he doesn't have any receivers to throw to, so he's going to be under duress all day. If he gets a strip fumble for a touchdown, that could be the game right there. And that's something the Texans can do because they have that good of a pass rush show. I do hear you. It just I'm with you. I just don't see the Texans winning, so I give it a 10, but I hear you. I would not be shocked if this was one of those upsets because there's like three upsets every week. You're like, how did that happen? And usually it involves the Bills.
Yeah,
But we'll move on here. Next on the list here is the Vikings game, but I think I do like what we're doing, leaving the Vikings and Eagles games for last. So I think we skip that one for now.
I agree.
We're going to move on to the Steelers at the Bears. This one is going to be fun to talk about. So I'll start with the Bears. They're the most fraudulent 7-3 team in the league. Um, I mean, if you look at the 7-3 teams, are they as good as Seahawks? Absolutely not. Are they as good as, let's see, who else is 7-3 or in that range?
Well, okay,
Are
wait,
they
but
are they as good as the 49ers? Absolutely not.
wait, but on I mean, the Seahawks, that one's tough for me, man. I don't know. Sam Darnold had a really, really, really bad week last week.
That was one game this year so far, though. And Caleb Williams has not played well all year. He's played fine. He's had like two good games, but no one's talking about that he was 16 for 32 with just one touchdown last week. That's kind of average, kind of pedestrian. I don't know.
Uh,
I'm not sold on the Bears. I watched them play, and Minnesota had 90 million chances to win that game, and Minnesota beat themselves because they McCarthy didn't have a good game, and we had really stupid punt cover or kickoff coverage, and the Bears have beaten up on bad teams. I'm not a believer in them. So I don't think they're like a horrible team, but 7-3 is not as good as they are. The record does not show how good this team is. This team probably is a borderline wild card team. I can see them making the playoffs, mainly because the record is so good right now, and it's going to be kind of tough to miss the playoffs now, even though the rest of their schedule is pretty intense. They have to win at least two more games for the rest of the season. That's very possible. But I'm just not sold on them. I'm not sold on them. Their offense is fine. Their defense is not very good. Like analytically, their defense is bad. They can't stop the run. They can't rush the passer. So that's two big things in this league you need to have, and they can't do either on defense. So that's something they'll probably look at addressing next year in the draft and stuff. And on the Steelers, I mean, this past Sunday, Aaron Rodgers got hurt. I think he hurt his wrist or something. It sounds like he's not out of this week, which is strange. Like Mike Tomlin is not ruling him out. I really don't see him playing, but Mike Tomlin has not ruled him out. Um, Honestly, probably with that injury, it's better if they play Rudolph and let him heal up. I think Rudolph 100% probably plays better than Aaron Rodgers at 70. It's close, but I would probably lean the healthy guy who's more athletic and could have, you know, moved in the pocket a little bit more. Um, but I really like the Steelers defense. I think the Steelers defense is going to do enough to shut down the Bears enough, not like completely shut them down, but limit them, limit the points they score. And I think the Steelers offensively can score just enough points to get a win because I really don't believe in the Bears. I'm not going to have a high confidence in this though, but this is one of my upset picks. I got the Steelers with a confidence of 4.
Hmm. So I'm definitely gonna go Bears on this one, and I'm at confidence of 8. And um, I don't want to make it sound like that I'm on the Bears train. I think that honestly, I've I'll save a prediction for next week and then for about it for next week. But I could see this being a bad game for them in a week from now. Which, if everybody knows Black Friday's next week, so you'll know who they're playing and you know what I'm thinking. But
Hmm.
I think the Bears will pull this one out. I got a confidence of 8, and the reason why is just uh, I feel like that the Aaron Rodgers train has really fallen off, and they'll be in Chicago, and
Yeah.
um, this is going to be one of the Bears' easier wins, like easier chances to win moving forward. They really have to win this one if,
Yeah.
if they,
Outside this, the Browns is the other easy game, but the rest are legit teams.
yeah.
It's like the
And
Packers
so,
twice, Lions, Eagles, Ravens. It's insane.
yeah. So, and by the way, I love how everyone's focusing on they're the number one place team. That is so funny to me because that's going to change so fast. Anybody who watched the Lions game against the Eagles, that's a legit team. Yeah, sure they lost,
Hmm.
but they're going to bounce back.
Yeah.
I mean, like the
Yeah.
Buccaneers, are the Buccaneers a bad team because they have a few losses? You're out of your mind if you think that the
No.
Buccaneers are not a great team. They're a good
Hmm.
team. They just have a
Yeah.
tough schedule.
People just pay attention to records too much and not at context. And the context for the Bears is seven. I mean, all 7 of their wins are against losing teams. I mean, the
Yeah.
Vikings are a losing record team right now, and they barely been. Now, give the Bears credit on this part. They find ways to win in the fourth quarter, and that's really good to do. That's impressive. But the rest of the 3 quarters, they're not very good. They eke their way out a bunch of wins with some I don't want to say luck, but the ball bounces their way a couple times, like a block field goal. That's really, really rare to get. And then having a team fumble in their own red zone, about to kick a field goal to ice the game. Bears pick it up against the Commanders. They go march down and get a field goal at the last second against the Vikings. A crazy big lane and a kickoff return, 50 yards, set yourself up in field goal range with 30 seconds left. These are really, really low chance things that's happening for them. And and against the Giants, we're down 10 in the fourth quarter, and then Jackson Darts gets hurt, and they got to put in Russell Wilson, and that's advantage Bears rest of the way, and they pull that out late. They're pulling games out late. Awesome. That is really impressive, but I don't believe in the team as a whole. They're just they're just not there for me. They're not a 7-3 team. They're maybe slightly above 500 in my opinion. Like borderline wild card. I'm not saying they're going to make it just yet. If they win this game, they're a playoff team for sure. But if they lose this game, and like we said, Lions, Packers twice, Eagles, Ravens, there's a chance they could miss. I'm not going to say they're going to miss, but there's a chance. They win this game, they basically have it locked in.
Yeah. And what was your confidence, by the way, for that one?
A 4. So it's not high confidence. I'm not believing in the Steelers, but I just don't believe in the Bears enough to pick them to win this game. And I got to pick some upsets. Like I said, I got to make this fun.
That's fair. Yeah. Um, I mean, I'd be fine with the Steelers winning. I mean, I don't know. I
Hmm.
and they did have a good game against the Bengals last week. That Chargers game was just pitiful. It was so
It
bad.
was. Yeah.
It is an up and down league, and so I have to try my best to remember that.
It's been crazy. Yeah. And then the Chargers, after they destroyed the Steelers, looked awful the next week. It just things happen.
Why do you think that is? I just feel like that there's been a lot of games like that this season where
A
you
lot of
followed up.
parity. I really don't know. I don't know if it's matchup dependent or it's
Mm,
just it just teams show up or get hot. I don't know what it is. It's been a really weird year.
Because for the AFC South, for example, I'm really surprised the Jags are 6-4. Um, I just
Yeah.
it looked like the wheels were coming off,
And
but
then they
I don't
get a
know,
big
man.
win somewhere. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Uh, the
Yeah.
the Chiefs might be doing them a favor against the Colts this weekend. Um, we'll see, but that could make the race more interesting in the AFC South.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Let's move on to the next game. I think this one we're probably both in being locks up here, but there is something interesting happening over in Bengals land. So we have the Patriots at the Bengals. The Patriots, they're 9-2, best record in the AFC. I don't think I think we agree that they're not, we don't believe they're the best team in the AFC. They're a good team. They are kind
Mhm.
of a surprise team. They're the darlings this year. Drake Mays looked awesome. Absolutely should be an MVP candidate. I don't know if I would pick him to win just yet, but there's still some games left. Maybe he continues this really, really good play. Now he's playing against probably the worst defense in the league, so he should put up some decent numbers. Stephon Diggs has been fine. Travion Henderson's been really good. We'll see if Stevenson's back. I think he might be back, but Travion Henderson has earned himself a role now. So even if
Yeah.
Stevenson is back, it's going to be at best a 50-50 split. This is about to be Henderson's job, especially next year. He's been great. Patriots defense has been really good. Like we shared with Dallin that they have not, I don't know if they allowed last week. I didn't check, but before last week, they have not allowed a 50-yard rusher, which is insane. That is really good run defense. Vrabel's turned the ship around really quickly. And on the Bengals, Jamar Chase is suspended. That is probably the key factor in this game because Joe Burrow had a full participant in practice today on Wednesday. He is back to full practice, so he has a chance to play in this game. And Joe Flacco was limited. He's a little banged up. So, I mean, Joe Burrow might play in this game, which is wild to think. I don't, to me, if I'm the coach and if I'm Joe Burrow, I shut her down. Your team's three
Yeah.
and seven. You probably have like a 2% chance to make the playoffs. You have to win out and get a ton of help. Shut her down. Don't worry about it. Look at next year, get a good draft pick, maybe make some kind of fun run next year because it's not happening right now. And you got to do it without your best offensive player in Jamar Chase. But I don't know. He's practicing. We'll see what happens. I would probably guess he doesn't come back this week, maybe next week, but it's interesting that he's practicing. I don't need to say much else. I have the Patriots winning this game big time because without Jamar Chase, I have it as a 9. I wanted it to go higher, but there are other games that are just easier locks in my opinion. So I have the Patriots winning with a confidence of 9.
I want the Patriots with a confidence of 2, and I know that that
Okay.
might sound a little bit, like a pessimist on my part. I feel like the Patriots are in that moment where they're ripe for a loss. I could see
If Jamar Chase was in this game, I would be lockstep with you.
I
But him
it,
being out, they have T. Higgins as a 1. I don't know. I don't know if they have enough
I don't
weapons.
know. It's I hear you. I do think from the tight end side they have enough to be able to get by for a
Mm,
game. Because they do have a decent tight end setup right now. It's not a bad room. It's not like lights out, but I don't think they will
hmm
be as hopeless as it could be. Now, the Jamar Chase loss is huge. It's huge. And by the way, can we get past this whole stupid spit thing
I
this year?
know. I
This is
know.
this is beyond
Why?
it's beyond like
There's so many
idiotic.
cameras on you. You're going to get caught. And then when you get caught, why are you saying you didn't do it? I just I
Well,
don't.
I mean, like it's just disgusting to like
Hmm
first and foremost. I mean, what a
hmm
what a weird way to disrespect your opponent. It's just silly, man. It's beneath
Yeah.
them. But yeah, I mean, I'm just deeply disappointed that that has happened again.
Yeah.
I was glad that the NFL came out hard against Carter. I'm
hmm
glad that they put in place the expectation you will be suspended a game for doing
Yep.
this kind of action.
Absolutely.
Totally agreed. I wish they would have done 2 games. Even if we lost to the Chiefs, I would have been happy
I
with 2 games.
Yep, and I think, and I honestly think that Jamar Chase should have been 2 games because there is a precedent. Hey, you saw what Carter did, and yet you still did it. Now you get more. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the part that the NFL didn't want is they felt like probably they would lose the appeal because you're not treating
Mm,
players the same.
that's
And then
fair.
it gives
Yeah.
it gives the player a little W, right? It's a dumb W, but it's a W. And they would
Hmm.
run laps around that. So I think that's why they ultimately chose one. But um yeah, I really don't understand why why the Bengals have struggled so much in having a cohesive team. I mean,
Hmm.
at this point, I've not heard any rumors about Taylor being let go. So are they really going to run it back again? Because it feels like we're repeating the same thing three
Yeah.
seasons in a row. And eventually you just got to say, this isn't working. Thanks for the
Hmm.
one Super Bowl appearance that we didn't get the ring for. We're going to go a different
I
direction.
agree. I completely agree. And they need a defensive coach because you don't need an offensive coach to develop a quarterback. You got maybe the third best quarterback in the league in Joe Burrow when he's healthy. The only problem with Joe Burrow is he gets injured too much. And that's a problem. That is a legit problem.
So,
But when he's healthy, he is one of the most accurate passers in this league.
so is that like Robert Saleh? Is that who they look at? Is it, I mean,
Maybe
honestly,
so. I don't want this to happen, but the Viking show I watch, basically they were saying that they need to hire Brian Flores as their head coach, and that makes sense. But I don't want it to happen. Don't do it.
I don't think that'll happen. And the only reason I'd say that
No,
is
it won't.
the
The
Bengals
lawsuit
are,
and Brian Flores has that lawsuit still active. He's not going to be a head coach while that lawsuit is active. Once
yeah,
it's done, it's
uh-huh.
possible.
Well, the other part too is the NFL is super streaky. And right now, Flores' defense is not playing in the way we're like, wow, the new shiny object. Like, I'm not saying he's
Yeah,
coaching bad. That's not what I'm saying,
right.
but it's not standing out. It's not like, picking up off the page and really
Hmm.
pulling people in. I think could be interesting if things don't go well in Houston this year. They're a little more impulsive. Do they let D'Amico go and then D'Amico goes to Cincinnati? That would be, to me, the optimal move for the Cincinnati Bengals to
Yeah,
make.
yeah.
I don't know if that will happen, but I would look into that. That to me would be a far better option. And the Texans, they're
Hmm.
on life support. They're like hanging in there, but they've only got
Yeah.
so many more losses they can take before they sink. Um,
And we both picked them to lose this week.
yeah. So it's probably just going to get worse. Anyway, I know that was a long segue. We'll see. We'll see what happens for the Patriots. I think they're going to struggle
Yeah.
this week. I think they're going to struggle a little more than we
Yeah,
think.
I hear you. And if Jamar Chase was playing, I would be very tempted to pick the upset, but I just don't. I know Flacco's been crazy good when he's in. I just don't know if they could do it without Jamar Chase.
Comeback player of the year 2.0, Andrew. Comeback player of the
I
year
mean,
2.0.
anything's possible.
I really think he should earn the award. I mean, who
Hmm.
believed that he would get traded from the Browns and actually look this good? Who believed that? I didn't.
Yep. And we'll get to the Browns and Stur Sanders here in a little bit. That's gonna be okay.
The future rookie MVP or rookie player of the year.
No, not happening. Anyway, we'll get to Shadur
Sorry.
Sanders in like
I'm sorry.
4 games here.
Um,
No, you're good. You're good. We'll talk about him really soon.
okay.
Let's move on to Giants at Lions. We don't have to spend a lot of time on here. Giants with Jameis Winston. They'll be fun to watch, but this isn't going to be competitive like it was against the Packers. The Giants almost won that game, but they won't do it here. The Lions are a well-oiled machine, especially on offense, unless they play the Eagles or the Vikings. Just saying. But outside of that, I mean, listen to Jared Goff's numbers: almost 2,500 yards passing, 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's really good.
Really
He
good.
honestly could be sneakily in that conversation of MVP as well. If the Lions weren't 6-4, I think that's what's holding him back a little bit. And some of those losses were like, how'd you lose that game? Or on national TV where they didn't look great.
Yeah.
Think that's what's holding him back a little bit, but he is right there in that vicinity to where, hey, if things turn around and they look good again, he'll be right back in that conversation. I mean, honestly, right now, if I had to pick between him and Josh Allen, it's a coin flip. Josh Allen had the great game, so I might give the advantage to Allen because that game was phenomenal. The 6 touchdowns, but the overall year, Goff's had a better year, so it's close. But Lions offense is great. Jahmyr Gibbs, 8 touchdowns, 700 yards rushing. Amon-Ra, 8 touchdowns, 7 yards receiving. So they're awesome. They're at home. Lions are going to win this game, and I have this as a confidence of 13.
This is my 14 game.
Yeah.
I feel so confident about it. Dan
Mm-hmm.
Campbell, I feel like the Eagles just kicked the Hornets' nest.
Mm-hmm.
That was a rough loss for the Lions, and
Mm-hmm.
like I said before, they're a good team. It was a loss, rough circumstance, but I think they're going
Yeah.
to come back with an absolute storm. And um, we talked about how like sometimes if you switch out coaches, you switch out your quarterback, there's a little bit of like a temporary lift. That won't be there this week. I
Yeah, that
don't
was the
believe that.
Packers game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that. This feels like it's going to be a runaway game for the Lions.
Mm-hmm. And hey, I have to give myself a shout out. I said that Giants Packers game. Packers are on
You did.
just like we're saying with the Patriots and Bengals that upset alert. Packers were on upset alert, and they had to fight and claw to get a win. Hey, a win's a win, but it wasn't pretty. And now Josh Jacobs might be hurt. We'll get into that. But next up, another game we don't have to spend a lot of time on: Seahawks at Titans. Seahawks, Sam Darnold, he's been playing pretty good all year, but I've been saying that whenever the pressure's on him, he does not show up yet. Now that could change. He could develop and he could be an elite superstar quarterback, but until he does that, and it showed against the Rams, when your run game's not working and your defense is playing fine, but not like winning the game for you, and you need to make a play. He threw 4 picks. They only lost by 2. So credit to the Seahawks. They made that a good game. That was competitive. They almost won that game, but he threw
Yeah.
4 interceptions. He was the reason why they lost. And just brings back so many memories with when he was with the Vikings against the Lions and against the Rams. Maybe he just can't beat the Rams. I don't know. But pass rush in his face, he makes mistakes, 4 interceptions. Luckily, they're playing the Titans this week, so that won't have to be a concern. They could probably run the ball 50 times and still win by 26 points because the Titans are one of the worst teams in the league. I mean, JSN's going to be great. Probably Ken Walker is going to play well. We'll see what they can get out of Rashid Shaheed. He hasn't really done a whole lot yet. This might be his breakout game with them because they don't got to worry about doing a whole lot anywhere else. Hey, let's throw some deep routes to Shaheed, see if he can get open, see if they can connect. This might be his game. And on the Titan side, they just need to cash it in, cash your chips in, try to get that number 1 pick, and then trade down because they don't need a quarterback. I think Cam Ward is going to be their future. I know he's had a lot of up and downs, but he's a rookie. That happens. Just like I've been talking about with JJ McCarthy. It's up and downs. You don't know this league very well. Just be patient. He will be fine. But there's no way the Titans are winning this game. I have the Seahawks winning with my confidence of 12.
I've got the Seahawks winning also with a confidence of 12. Now, I was just looking at Rashid Shaheed's numbers, and yeah, he was targeted 5 times last week, 27 yards. He did average 13.5. So, that's you're averaging
They're
some pretty
trying.
good targets.
Yeah.
Get him going. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, but the Rams, that's a tough draw. It really is a
Yeah.
tough draw. Um,
Yeah. They might be the
and
best team in the NFC, them and Philly. It's neck and neck.
yeah,
Who wants it more?
yeah, yeah. So, um, I don't see this being a problem at all for the Seahawks.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Let's move on to a fun one. This will be good. Colts at Chiefs. I'll start with the Chiefs coming off a difficult loss against the Broncos, which, I'll tap myself on the shoulder. I said that the home team was going to win in that matchup. So whenever the Chiefs play the Broncos at Kansas City, I'm going to pick Kansas City unless there, injuries, who knows what happens with there. But I'll probably pick Kansas City to win that game because I just think the home team's going to win that. And the Chiefs could not solve that defense. They were smothering Patrick Mahomes. He couldn't get the ball to those receivers, and the Broncos offense did just enough to pull out a win. Credit to the Broncos. they basically have that division in hand. The Chargers are still hanging around. They need to continue to play hard because the Chargers aren't going to go away, even though they had a bad week last week. But the Broncos, they're almost have that division locked up, which is very impressive. Got to give them credit. But this is definitely I mean, if there's a must-win game for the Chiefs, it's now. They lose this game, they are probably not making the playoffs because they still got to play the Broncos. They still have more difficult games on their
Chargers.
schedule. Chargers again too. Yeah. So they go 5-6. It might be time to call it. I mean, would I be surprised if they lose this game and they end up going 11-6 to end the season and just win 6 straight games? I wouldn't be super surprised, but I wouldn't expect that because that's really difficult to do, especially when they haven't been great. They've been fine to good, but they haven't been like the typical Chiefs this year. They just something's
Yeah.
just kind of off. And on the Colts side, I believe that the bye week last week, coming off that bye after their overseas game where they eked out an overtime win against the Falcons. But Jonathan Taylor, MVP candidate, he won't win because, quarterbacks are the only ones that win MVP.
It's the QB award, Andrew.
Yeah,
Let's
100%.
just call it
But
like it
offensive
is.
player of the year, I think he should still be leading that race. It's there's some guys that are entering the chat, like Puka Nacua is still, in that running. Um, if the Falcons had a better record, I'd say Bijan's in that, but I'm not going to put him in it anymore because their record's so bad. JSN
No.
is definitely in that conversation. He's having a
Oh yeah.
phenomenal year.
Yeah.
So really,
I
it's
mean,
probably
if
between
he
Jason and JT.
if he breaks Megatron's record, he has to get the
It's his,
award, you think, right?
100%. Yeah, record breakers, you automatically win, basically. Yeah, it's his. It's his if he breaks that record, which he's definitely on pace for.
I mean,
But
unless
JT's awesome. He's still awesome.
is Taylor on track to break the 2000 mark?
That I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's probably on pace to break a lot of touchdowns. Like he could break a touchdown record because he has 15 rushing touchdowns right now.
Dude, that's insane. Um,
Yeah,
but
and
he has 1140, so probably not. It's probably gonna be
yeah,
just
for the
short.
for the yards, but touchdowns, I don't
Yeah,
know what the record for rushing touchdowns is, but he's got to be in on pace to at least compete for that because 15 touchdowns in week 12, that's impressive. And
really impressive.
he's had a bye already too, and he has 15 rushing touchdowns. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm a really big Tyler Bourne fan. Got him a few fantasy leagues. He's been great. Daniel Jones hasn't played great as of late. He started off the year pretty well, but now he's at just under 2,700 yards passing, 15 TDs, 7 picks. That's not good. That's not good. That's a 2-to-1 ratio basically. So you want that in the 3-to-1 range. Um, but I really like Sauce Gardner pickup. I think that was a really savvy move. I know they gave up a couple first round picks, but those are going to be late first round picks, so the value isn't super high. And when he joined playing the Falcons, he didn't really know the playbook much, so he didn't play very well. Now they had a week off. Now he knows the playbook better. I think that pickup is what swayed me in this game. I would have gone Chiefs
Oh,
because they're at
interesting.
home, but I'm going to go Colts. Only confidence of two, but I'm going to go Colts to win this game. I think just structure wise, they're the better overall team. But obviously, the Chiefs have the coach and quarterback edge there. So that's a huge edge, and they're at home. But I'm going to go Colts to win this game. I got a confidence of two.
I'm gonna go Chiefs and a confidence of 4. Um, I I think the Chiefs are a good team. They just got to put the pieces together on the field at the right time, and that's something they, for whatever reason,
Mm,
cannot seem to figure out. Um,
hmm
but I do think that this is a good matchup for him. I think that Steve Spagnuolo. I mean, you look at that Broncos game. Steve Spagnuolo did his job against
hmm
Bo Nix. He did his job. It's just the Chiefs' offense
Yeah.
could not figure out how to overcome the Broncos' defense. And that defense
hmm
is incredible. By the way, did you know Alex Singleton? He's a linebacker for the Broncos. Great linebacker. The dude uh, took a drug test, found out he
Yep.
had testicular cancer,
Cancer.
and still played in the game.
Played.
Then got
hmm
surgery, and he's working to come back. I mean, what a story!
hmm
Props to him for sharing the story and not being embarrassed by it. um,
Right.
to bring awareness to something that's important for people to make sure they're
Hmm.
treating and taking care of. But on top of that, to continue to play and to put your
Hmm.
team first, wow. Props to that guy. Just the whole defense over there, just playing so incredible right now.
Yeah,
I'm going to say it again, Andrew. Vance Joseph, coaching candidate. And maybe that's who Cincinnati should look at now I'm thinking about it.
that makes
I
sense.
mean, he
Yeah.
is so good. I felt bad for his first go around. I felt like he got the short end of the stick. But what he is doing right now in Denver, I mean, if that defense wasn't playing as good as they are, they're not a 92 team, right? Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. They're like a 500 team if they have a defense that's not
Yeah.
playing that good.
I mean, they are carrying the team. I mean, it is
Hmm.
truly impressive. And I know that you have to give credit for the players they have, but Joseph has done a great job scheming. I mean, the
Hmm.
sacks are in large part due to the scheming and being able to get your defensive line and
Yeah.
tackles open in the right gaps to be able to take the quarterback down. So, um,
Hmm.
anyway, bringing up game. Sorry, Andrew. I don't mean to get so sidetracked. It's been a really long day for the conference, so I'm a little tired. But
Hmm.
the Chiefs have to win this one. If they don't win,
I hear you.
20% chance that they make the playoffs, and that might be generous.
That
15%
probably
chance.
is generous. Yeah, because they basically have to only if they lose this game, they have to go 5-1 at worst to make the playoffs.
Well, the part that's tough for them is they're 2-4 in the conference.
Hmm.
It's really bad. You were talking about the
Yeah.
Bengals. The Bengals are 3-3 in the conference right now. There's still hope from a conference standpoint. You can get enough wins to be able to position yourself. You'd have to win out. You'd have to win out, and hope for a miracle. But 3-3
Hmm.
sounds like doable, whereas the 2-4, man, that's brutal.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
I hear you. I hear you. Next up, we'll be agreeing with this one. Jets at Ravens. So Tyrod Taylor without the best receiver that he has, in Wilson, just the Ravens defense isn't like elite, and overall they've been a fine team, not great this year. They've had some injuries, and Lamar Jackson's actually a little bit banged up as well. But yeah, the Jets season's done. They trade away their two best players for draft picks, so they're looking to the future, which is awesome. They got a lot of draft capital. They're probably going to move up if they don't get the number one pick and take the best quarterback in the draft, which I think is the guy from Indiana, I think. Um, but they're they've kind of caved in, and they're playing a Ravens team that has playoff hopes. They're on a good win streak now. Ravens are at home. Derrick Henry's awesome. Lamar Jackson is playing really well. He was a little banged up. He has 15 touchdowns, 3 picks. That's great. Derrick Henry over 800 yards rushing. Zay Flowers over 700 yards receiving. Don't think there's much more need to talk about here. I have the Ravens winning, and I have this as my 11 confidence.
I got the Ravens winning confidence of 13. Interesting fact with the Jets tied to the Patriots, Fields did get 67 yards rushing against the Patriots, so the 50 yards
Okay.
comes
Yeah.
down. Well, Dallin would fight me and say that's not a running back, and then qualify the comment. But I am counting it because Justin Fields has practically been the running back for the Jets this season.
Hmm. Yep. And they got to win without him having like 50 yards passing, which was insane. It's like 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago when they had 2 returns for touchdowns. But yeah, hopefully they'll turn things around a couple of years with some good draft picks, but it ain't this year.
yeah, no, not right now.
All right, next up, another one we probably don't gotta spend a lot of time on. Two other 2-8 teams, Browns at Raiders. Other than we can talk about Shedeur Sanders and kind of laugh at that a little bit, but it's his first game starting. He played last week and it didn't look so well, which is not super surprising. But I will defend him in this. He is still a rookie quarterback. No one needs to give up on these guys until they've had at least a season and a half. When you see a season and a half and you don't see any improvement, now you can start saying, okay, maybe it's time to say that this guy's not quite what we were hoping. I always go back to J.J. McCarthy. He's played 5 games. Everyone's already saying he's a bust. No, he's not a bust right now. If this is week 12 of next year and he's still looking this way, okay, I'm right there with you. He might not be the guy because 17 games in and he's not reading defenses, not making decisions really well. might not be it. I wouldn't be fully on board saying McCarthy's a bust in a year and a half because some quarterbacks take 3-ish years. Look at Sam Darnold. He took a few years with some bad organizations, but with the weapons around McCarthy and with his head coach, if it doesn't work in a year and a half, it might not work really ever for him. But we'll see. But getting back to Sure Sanders, it's only his first game starting, his second game playing, so don't expect to see a whole lot from him. And plus, they don't really have a lot on this team anyway, outside of Quinshon Judkins and a couple good tight ends. I mean, there's not really much to run, not much of an offense to run for him. And the Raiders defense isn't bad. It's not great, but it's a little it's feisty. They got some good pass rushers, obviously, with Max Crosby, and they can make some plays. They can make some plays. And on offense for the Raiders, they're playing a really good defense in the Browns. That's what the Browns calling card is. So Geno Smith is probably going to throw a couple more picks because that's what he likes to do. He has 12 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. That's not going to cut it. Um, Ashton Genty kind of bottled up last week, but against the Cowboys, which I kind of expected because they traded all this draft capital to stop the run. So they wanted to make sure they did that, and they did it. Genty had a lot of passes, a lot of catches, so he still was okay in fantasy for fantasy owners, but he only had like 7 yards rushing, which not good. I don't expect that this week. I think he'll have a fine game this week. Trey Tucker should be fine. Brock Bowers, he'll probably get away a little bit, but I don't know. I wasn't a fan of this game. I usually do this with games that I don't really care about. I picked this as my one confidence. I have the Raiders winning because they're at home and they have the better quarterback, even though he hasn't played that well, and they have some better offensive players. So I picked the Raiders, but only confidence of one because this game's just eh.
I I went slightly more. I went Raiders confidence of 5, and I was close to picking the Browns, but then I remembered the starting quarterback situation, and that just moved me to no, it
Hmm.
can't happen. Um,
Hmm.
I really do hope that things go better for Shador. I know I kind of like muse for a second about things. I think it's unfortunate that Shador came in with such high hopes, like in the
Yeah.
sense that I don't even know if high hopes is the right word. Expectations. He came in with such high expectations that
And publicity.
it it wasn't fair to him. He didn't need
Hmm.
that level of expectations for his first season.
Yeah.
Um, it's weird to me because the film was there that things were rough at Colorado. It's not the fact he was a bad quarterback, but eh, if he could have had another year at Colorado, I think it would have been good for him. Um,
Yeah.
I really do. I think that he wasn't ready. The BYU game to me was revealing of wow, like this is going to be a
Hmm.
rough transition for him. Um, so I I like what Pete Carroll will have set up. I think that they'll do okay on defense. We'll see what happens to the
Hmm.
Raiders' offense. Um, for sure, the defensive line of the Browns will eat. They will get pressure.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think the Raiders have more horses.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much all there is to it. They have a little bit better talented team and they're at home. So, and it's Shadur Sanders' first starting game. So you would expect some growing pains, especially week one. We'll see what it can turn into. Next up, Jaguars at Cardinals. I think this is going to be a really interesting game because I don't know if you're fully sold on the Jaguars. I'm not quite there. They've been too roller coastery for me, and Trevor Lawrence just I wanted to believe in him when he got drafted, but he just hasn't been that guy. He has 2,100 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. That's almost Geno Smith numbers right there. It's not too far off. Just not been that great. ETN's been playing pretty well. 700 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns. He's been solid. The receivers have been kind of off and on. You know, Brian Thomas has been dealing with some injuries, but he's had a lot of drop issues. They picked up Jacoby Myers, but he's a good two. See a good one when Thomas is out. I don't know. And we know about Travis Hunter. We talked about that a lot. So I'm not going to really get into that. Jaguars defense though has been good. I've been impressed with their defense. I think they'll probably make some plays in this game. This is at Arizona, and Arizona's going to be missing Marvin Harrison Jr. again, which is big. But Michael Wilson played really well last week in his absence, and I was so glad I picked him up in fantasy because I really needed those points to pull out a win. I think I got back to 500 or right above. I might be 6-5 now. I'm not sure, but I'm right
Yeah, I think
there
you're
in
six and
that
five.
realm. I'm right there in that realm of being like 50-50 to make the playoffs because there's like 19 million of us that are 6-5. So I was really happy to get that win. If I had a loss there, I think my playoff chances would have taken a big hit. But Michael Wilson pulled it out, got me a win. They still have Trey McBride. He has 700 yards, receiving 7 touchdowns. He's been phenomenal. And I just like what I see from Jacoby Brissett. He's just a gamer, man. He's a savvy veteran that doesn't care. He's going to fling it around. He's going to find the open guy. Trey Benson, I don't think he's going to play yet, but he's coming back off his IR window. His practice window is opened, so he should be back. But I had to pick some upsets, and this is my upset. I have the Cardinals win this
Mm-mm.
game. Only confidence of 3, but it's because of the team they're playing. I just don't believe in the Jaguars. They have a good game one week and then a really stinker where they should have lost against the Raiders the next week. It's just, I don't fully buy in. So I'm going to say this is one of the weeks that they struggled. They played well last week. Give them credit. That was a good win, but they're up and down. Good one week, bad the next. So I'm picking the Cardinals to win this game.
I mean, I see what you're saying about the Raiders game, but they won. They beat him in overtime. Like,
But that's against one of the worst teams in the league. And the Jaguars are a winning record that should be better than that. And they should have lost. They won, but they had no business winning that game.
no, man. I mean, you have a three-game winning streak. You got to give them some credit. Yes, I get what you're saying. The Texans Raiders game, there are fluky elements. But like there are many teams that you could argue, look at the Eagles. They beat the Rams because of a blocked field goal. And some people would argue that's fluky. Some people would say the way that Buccaneers were struggling to deal with injuries was fluky for the Eagles to be able to beat them. Like I get that. I feel like that your Trevor Lawrence distaste affects your overall opinion of the Jaguars, which is understandable. I think that how the quarterback plays has a big impact, but that Jaguars defense overall plays tough. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
they're,
Yeah. They're a good
invincible.
defense.
But they're a good defense. I've been pretty impressed with
Hmm.
how they've done overall. Um, they've also got a win over the Panthers, Andrew. The Panthers have a winning record right now. Come on, give credit where credit's due. Anyway, but I don't know. I'm picking the Jaguars. I see what you're saying, but also here's another part. How can you fault the Jaguars for their problems for being fluky, and then the Cardinals get a pass? Like you're not going to bring up any of the like lack of discipline. How did you lose this game?
They're 3-7. That's not fluky. That's just bad.
I mean fluky in the sense of like they go from a week where they look impressive when they beat the Dallas Cowboys, and then I mean there are
And they
definitely
should have beat the Packers.
yeah. I mean that's a perfect example of like they just go between games where you're like, okay, how did you go to that? The 49ers, like 41-22. Like, really? Really? Like, the 49ers are
Hmm.
not that impressive. The 49ers, dude, they have more people probably on IR than they have on the team right now. Like, they're struggling, Andrew. Like, 41-22 is pretty bad. The Seahawks,
Hmm.
fine. I'll give them a pass. That's fine. But the Packers, Colts? Like there's games here that they should the Titans? Like, come on, man. The Cardinals have had problems too. Like I get what you're saying, but I think the Jaguars are better. So
They
I'm,
are a
I'm
better team. The Jaguars are a better team, but this is a interesting league, and it's at Arizona, and Jacob Brissett's a gamer, and there's always upsets. So this is one of my
uh
upsets.
you
And it's
you
not
are
like I have a
such a
confidence of 12. I have a confidence of 3.
you're such a romantic for Jacoby Brissett.
He's been playing so well. I've been impressed. He's been playing better than Kyler Murray.
He's
You
going to
can't
be your
argue
comeback
that.
player of the year, isn't he, Andrew?
No, because he's not winning, but he's just fun. He's just fun. He's like a smart version of Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston. Yeah, that's
Not
fair.
turn the ball over,
Yeah.
but still just being gritty and just fun to watch.
Hmm.
And if they had Marvin Harrison Jr., I might have bumped this up to like a 5, but they don't.
All right. Okay. Uh, well, I think we have worked out the storyline far enough, but I cannot wait for you to be wrong.
And like I said, I'm down 80 points, so I got to make things interesting. And I was really hoping there was some other little tweaks here, but there's still some games left. We'll see how it goes. Okay, next up on here is the Eagles game, so we're gonna skip that. So the one after that is the Falcons at the Saints. So it's Kirko Chain season the rest of the year. He gets to show what he can do, which is probably not a lot because he's old, bad Achilles. That's healed, so to speak, but not strong anymore. And they're gonna be without Drake London. He's gonna miss this game most likely, which sucks for my fantasy team because he's been awesome for me. Which actually, thinking about it, going forward, even when he's healthy, having Kirk Cousins as his quarterback kind of lowers his value a little bit. So I am sad to hear that because Michael Penix was hunting for Drake London all the time. Don't know if Kirk Cousins is going to do that. We'll see. But the Falcons are hurting right now. They're missing probably their two of their three best offensive players in Penix and in London outside of Bijan, which Penix being their third best offensive player is probably saying something because he hasn't been all that great. But it still hurts. It's a drop off from Kirk Cousins. Their defense has been playing really well, so I'll give them that. They've been a really solid defense. But man, injuries they've had and these clearly close losses, they're basically done. And they're playing at New Orleans. New Orleans, I think, is coming off their bye, if I remember that correctly. Did they play last week? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. They might have been on a bye. I don't remember, but I kind of like what the Saints have been doing, even though they're 2-8. I mean, like I can't give them too much credit at 2-8, but Tyler Shook has shown some promise where maybe they don't need to draft a quarterback. Maybe they just see if they can develop him. His connection with Chris Olave has been awesome, and their defense is playing fine. So, I mean, I'm picking the Saints to win this game. If this was Michael Penix and if this was Drake London, I'd
Whoa.
probably pick the Falcons. But I am really anti Kirk Cousins after seeing him play the little bit he played. So I have the Saints win this game at home with the confidence of 6.
Um, wow. Okay. Okay. I'm still going to pick the Falcons. And I'm going to pick the Falcons with the confidence of 9.
Okay.
I get what you're saying. I just I think that the Saints could get run on by Bijan Robinson. Like
Yeah.
the Falcons offense is we talked about this many times, but I think that the Falcons offense is good enough to be able to run the ball against bad teams. And that's about it. So I think they should be able to win this game, not because of Kirk Cousins, but because Bijan Robinson's able to get going and the Falcons defense is able to at least keep the Saints in check to be able to pull out a win. So that's why I went the way I did.
Yeah. That's totally fair. Totally fair. Like I said, I got to make things interesting. I got to have some upsets. And this is one of the ones I feel pretty decent about
I think
because,
it's
again,
hilarious that I just think it's hilarious you talk about having to catch me, but then you're making all these picks, and it's like, are you trying to lose more points and get farther behind, Andrew? Like, is it becoming a game of how risky or
so 3 weeks ago, if I picked the Dolphins to beat the Bills, you would have thought I was insanely stupid, and yet the Dolphins beat the Bills. I'm just saying,
I
it's a
I
weird
didn't
year.
say I didn't say you were insanely stupid. For the record, I don't want anyone to get misconstrued. I've never ever said that. I did not say that. Don't put words in my mouth.
Well, if I did that, you would have said I was probably insanely stupid to pick the Dolphins and beat the Bills, because that's the worst team in the league beating one of the best teams in the league, not
That's
a 2-8 team beating a 3-7 team.
you're right. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Okay.
I'm just saying there's upsets all the time, and I gotta take my dart throws at some upsets.
Okay.
If I'm wanting to catch you, I gotta take some dart throws at some upsets. Watch something random like the Giants beat the Lions, because this is how this league is this year. It's just insane.
You're right. You're right.
All right, next up, man, this one coming up, I was back and forth on, but I had to land on the team I didn't want to pick because they're just the better team. But Buccaneers at Rams. I really wanted to pick the Bucks because I'm a fan of them because they're just feisty and Baker's been carrying this team as much as he can. And Bucky Irving is practicing now. So he might come back for this game, which is helpful. But I mean, Rashard White and Sean Tucker have not played poorly. They've played really well. So it's not like the Buccaneers are get a huge boost with Bucky Irving over those two. It's a boost. He's a better player than those two are, but combined, they've played well. So it's not like the Buccaneers are getting like a 3 point boost in the spread. They're still going to be about the same. But I like Baker and Mukabuka has been awesome. Sucks that they've had so many injuries on this team. They're still going to be a playoff team, still going to be feisty, still going to be competitive. And I think this game is going to be close. I think it's going to be a back and forth kind of game. But the Rams just have too much firepower on both sides of the ball. Like we just talked about earlier, they're one of the two best teams in the NFC right now. And again, I wanted to pick the Bucks as one of my like upset picks because I do believe they could pull this off, but I can't do it. I got to go with one of the strong MVP candidates in Stafford, who has 27 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Just insane. That's like Aaron Rodgers numbers when he was in his prime. It's just insane. And then Kyron Williams, 750 yards. Puka's been awesome. Even though he's been banged up a little bit, he's been awesome. Their defense has been really good as well, getting to the passer. So I didn't want to do it, but I have to. I had to pick the Rams to win this game, and I got them with a confidence of 5.
Yeah, it's crazy that Stafford's at a 14-1 ratio for touchdowns to
Hmm.
interceptions. Props to him. I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers. And
Wow.
yeah, I think the last 2 weeks the Buccaneers have been victims to just not making enough plays, but playing
Yeah.
really good football. Do I see them losing three in a row? That just
Mm.
seems so
Yeah.
unlikely to me. And also the other thing you got to keep in mind too with this race, at least the reason why I'm justifying this pick, Panthers are right in their tail. They are right
Hmm.
there. And if the Buccaneers are not careful, they could lose this division. Um, so I think that the Rams could lose. I know it's at home, but the home field advantage for the Rams has never been good. This is well documented.
Yeah.
It's talked
Yeah.
about
It's
frequently,
LA. Yeah. It's not a home field, really.
which is crazy with that stadium. I still cannot believe people do not want to go to that game to show
Hmm.
up for that team, especially with how good the Rams are right now. I mean, they're so good. Um,
Hmm.
but I feel like the Buccaneers are going to pull this one out. They're desperate. They need it. It's really important. Baker's playing good. Irving coming back would be a huge factor. I only have a confidence of 3, so I'm not super confident about this, but I do think they're going to pull it off.
I do have a question for you. It
Mhm.
seems like every team's record that's close to the Eagles, you like to pick against them to have them lose. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
No, that's definitely not it. No, I really went back and hey, I picked the Seahawks last week. I mean, I guess that's hard because it was the Seahawks Rams, but the Seahawks and the Rams and Eagles were all vying for top spot.
Yeah.
I I know I've given a lot of love to Stafford lately, and I do. I think he's played really
Hmm.
well. Um, the reason I just give him so much appreciation is because of the fact I really was low on the trade. I felt like that he fell off and things weren't
Hmm.
going well overall, right? It wasn't like there was continued sustained success like I thought there could be, or I thought it was being sold. Like I felt like it was not quite the value that they were expecting. But this season has really proven that Stafford has juice left in the tank. And if you've got enough pieces around him, he can be a great quarterback. I just think this game is an unfortunate situation for the Rams. You're coming off a huge win against the Seahawks. That was a taxing win. And you got the Bills
Hmm.
that are coming off two major losses to the Patriots and the Bills. They really got to win this one. And it's an NFC game, so it's even more important. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe I'm explaining away the reason why I think they'll win, but I just got a feeling in my gut. I think they're going to pull this out. So,
Well, I kind of hope you're right because I'm rooting for Baker because he's like I said before, if I had a vote, even though he doesn't have the numbers as some of these other quarterbacks do, I would still vote for him for my MVP just because of the cards he's been dealt and how he's carried this team as much as he can. The past couple losses have been tough. If he won those two games somehow, he would be probably up there leading in this conversation MVP, but he lost those two games, so it kind of dropped him off. I still root for him. I will still vote for him if I had to, but I just don't see him winning at LA with that defense and Rams playing so well. But I really hope that you're right. All right,
Can I
now
ask you a
going
quick
to
question?
Monday night. Yes.
Um, what about NFC Pro Bowl candidates? Would you say it's Stafford, Baker? Who would be your third?
Oh man, that's going to be really interesting because there's like five quarterbacks that you can make a case for.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even though Darnold had that really bad game, that was a really bad game. Overall, the year, you could make a case for him. I probably wouldn't put him in there, but I would hear the conversation. Jalen Hurts, even though the offense hasn't been great, they're winning games and he's making plays when he needs to. I would hear that conversation. I'm not sure who I would put three right now. I do not know. Even though I really make fun of Jordan Love a lot, he's still a good quarterback. I'm not going to deny he's not a good quarterback. So I could hear the argument for him being the third guy in there. There's a lot of guys. Baker and Stafford are definitely one and two for me. You can flip flop them any way you want. Those are definitely the first two. But man, there's a lot of. I mean, even Dak Prescott has been playing so well this year. I can hear that argument for the third one. That'd be tough, man. That'd be tough picking that third guy because there's a lot of good quarterbacks. Not a lot of elite quarterbacks in the NFC, but a lot of good ones.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth in my head. I don't know. I just was curious what you're thinking, but I bet you Baker is not in the same boat that we're picture like that the NFL's viewing it as. He might be the
Yeah.
one that's like outside looking in, but I've been really impressed by him. Um, I,
hmm
I'm I'm leaning towards Goff, Baker, and
And I forgot about Goff. Yeah.
um, and Stafford. I think Hurts I'd put just
hmm
right behind there.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, I'm struggling. I can see that one. We'll see. Anyway, I just wanted to see what your thoughts were about that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a tough race for that third one. There's a lot of quarterbacks that kind of bundled in that bin, that same tier. So I could hear arguments for any of them. If I had to pick, you mentioned golf, I'd probably put golf in there, but it's tough. It's close. Um, but next up, going to Monday Night Football. I'm interested to hear this conversation. So Panthers, they've been having an up down year. Bryce Young had an insane game last week. I got to give him credit. I was saying that he probably isn't going to be the guy going forward after how it's looked this year, and then he goes off and just has a huge game, over 400 yards passing. I think three touchdowns or something like that. I know that Tet had two because he's in my fantasy teams. Thank you, Tet. They just looked phenomenal on offense. Got a huge win. It was back and forth, but they pulled out the win. Got to give them credit. It was against the Falcons. The Falcons, they had some injuries, so I don't know if that caused the loss, but it's overtime loss. Give Panthers credit. They pulled out a really good win. I think that's going to be a little emotional high for this game because
Mm,
this game's kind of a coin flip for me. Because I'm not a huge believer in the 49ers. I think they have more talent and a better coach than the Panthers, but I don't think it's like drastic. I think it's close. Um, but I think the factor of it being at San Francisco, Christian McCaffrey's been one of the best offensive players. He should, we didn't think about him. He is probably going to win Offensive Player of the Year just because of both sides of the football, how well he's playing, as far as receiving and running. He's their leading receiver and their leading rusher. That's just crazy. I probably have to pick him for Offensive Player of the Year right now, unless, like you said, Jason breaks that record, then conversation's over. But it's at San Francisco. Panthers coming off that really emotional high win against division opponent in overtime. And 49ers are just the overall better team by just a little bit. So I have the Niners winning this game. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be competitive, but I got the Niners with a confidence of 8.
I went the Panthers confidence of one.
I love this. I was going into this episode thinking that I really wish we were kind of opposites in some of these because either one or two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to be down by 200 points next week and it doesn't matter anymore, or I'm down by like 25 going into next week. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be so much fun.
I mean, I love the optimism. We'll see what happens on that one. But listen, you enjoy your Jaguars Cardinals pick that you have because that's going to be an automatic loss. I'm so confident about that one.
Well, why don't you
Yeah,
change your confidence level to 14 then?
because I have more games that I'm more confident in. It's not the fact that I'm not confident in the pick. I'm just way more confident in the other games. I just think it's hilarious. Anyway, um, I went with the Panthers because I felt like this was a I said this to you about the Eagles, and so I'm going to compare it. When the Eagles played against the Giants, I felt like I should say the Vikings. I told you that I felt like it was like this. It was going to be a get right stretch. I felt like this was going
Hmm.
to be the start of the get right stretch, and so far it's been that for the Eagles. And they,
Not fully offensively though.
I meant get right in the sense that they're not losing games, right? They're
Okay.
not. I don't mean things are working the way that they need to be. I just mean that we're back on a winning track, right? We're getting the W's. And I think for the Panthers, the last week was that Vikings game for them, getting back on track, and that this week I expect it to continue moving forward. Um, I think that people are really sleeping on this Panthers team. I've talked about it in the past where there have been games that I feel like that people needed to give them more respect. The Cowboys game is a great example of that. The Packers game, and they've got really good wins. Like there's no way they should have beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys have way more talent. I still don't know how the Rico Dowdle game happened, other than Rico Dowdle just channeled his inner, Bobby Boucher and just absolutely throttled the Dallas Cowboys. And
It
then,
was revenge narrative. That's what it was. He wanted to get back at his old team.
I mean, it's fair. Even still, the Cowboys should have won. They really
Hmm.
should have. With Pickens and Lamb both in the actually I don't know if Lamb was playing in that game, but still with how Pickens is playing with Dak Prescott with Williams, I'm I'm impressed by the Panthers. I'm not saying they're an amazing team. They are punching above their weight. They're punching above their weight, and I'm so impressed by how they're playing right now. And if it was like the Seahawks or Rams, I would definitely go with the Seahawks or Rams. I just think that the 49ers are banged up. They are not 100%. They're probably operating at 65% capacity of what they could be as a team. And I think the Panthers will do just enough to squeak this out.
Okay. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. This is one of those ones it's not as strong as your as our Jaguars and Cardinals game, but I really think that the 49ers are going to win this game.
Mm.
So I really it's the opposite of this because I mean impressive win last week. Awesome. And they beat the Packers and they beat the Cowboys. Awesome. But I don't think this team is there yet.
Oh,
Bryce Young's
they're
been too up and down, and they're
uh-huh.
playing against a 49ers team who is very well coached, and they have to keep winning because they are third place in their division. So their only hope is to be a wild card team. And so
Yeah.
I,
I
yeah,
mean,
I don't see it this week.
the Panthers are in the same boat as far as needing to win. Both these teams need to win because the Panthers. I think the coaching staff knows that their best chance is to win a wild card spot. I think that they know that the gap between them and the Buccaneers is pretty significant in terms
They're
of
back
talent.
only by a half a game.
I know, but I think the talent between them and the Buccaneers is greater than between them and the Niners.
It's close for me. It's close
Hmm.
because CMC is just on a whole nother level.
I mean,
And
yeah,
George
uh,
Kittle can take over games at any time as well. Even though he's a little older, he's not the same guy, but he still has that in him. So it's close. I would say the Buccaneers are the better talented
When's
team, but
the
I don't think it's by a landslide.
when's the last time he took over a game? I mean, I understand the touchdown argument because he has 5 touchdowns. That's respectable. But when's the last time he took over a game?
They
Because
really
I'm
haven't
looking at
needed him
his,
to mostly because since they picked up CMC, he hasn't really needed to. But I still think he has that in him.
yeah. We'll have to see how it pans out. I get what you're saying
Yeah.
though. I hear you. I hear you.
Okay. We have two more games to go. The most important games, obviously. Um, we'll start here with the Vikings at the Packers. So I want to start by saying, please, everyone, be patient with JJ McCarthy. Chris Carter is going on social media and saying that he's basically a bust. Like there was I forgot who it was. It might have been Emmanuel Ocho. I forgot who it was, but they were saying he was saying something like that. The fourth quarter drive he had was really impressive. That went and scored to go ahead touchdown. Then Chris Carter from the Vikings responds to the tweet and said, "Did you watch the other 59 minutes?" I'm like, "Oh, come on, bro. You're supposed to be with us. Let's be patient. It's his fifth game. I just want to get that out there. I still believe in this guy. I still believe. Again, if by next season, week 12, it looks like this, I am starting to raise my yellow flag and say, I don't know if it's in him now. But it's week 5, and he just has some mechanical issues that he just needs to get fixed. And he admits that. Coach knows it. Coach basically said that he needs to be like cement and start just hardening out these things instead of this kind of goes over here a little bit, that goes over a little bit. He needs to be cement, and that stuff needs to iron in and see and just be his foundation instead of just wet cement that he's moving in. So he's going to be fine. He's going against a Packers defense that is good. It's going to be difficult. He's got to watch out for Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary, two really good elite pass rushers, no doubt. But I've always said with the Vikings offensive line is we normally our strength is to go against good pass rushers. Not necessarily good interior, but on the edge. And that's what the Packers have is edge rushers that are really good. The Vikings have that strength. So that's strength on strength. So I like the Vikings' chances to be able to at least not get destroyed. I know Michael Parsons is going to get loose a few times because he's the best of the best. He's Michael Parsons. He'll get probably a couple sacks, at least a handful of pressures, but I don't think he's going to take over the game like he could against other teams because we have a really good tackle duo in Brian O'Neill, Christian Darrisaw. I think they'll be able to handle him enough to give McCarthy some time. And the Packers secondary is good, but not great. I think we can make some plays against them. It just McCarthy has to keep to his mechanics and be accurate with his throws. We have two of the best receivers, one of the best duos. I believe they'll be able to get open. They were open last week over and over again. McCarthy just missed them. So he needs to hit him. And then for the Packers, they might be without Josh Jacobs, and this team is very gettable, and especially without Josh Jacobs, it's at Lambeau, so that's a big advantage. But the Vikings and the Packers play to their competition. So the Packers are going to play down to the Vikings, and the Vikings are going to play up to the Packers. It's going to be very interesting. I could see this going either way, obviously. Like it's coin flip to me. So obviously, I'm picking the Packers with a confidence of 14, so it's a win-win for me.
I'm going the Packers confidence at 10. I got to see more from McCarthy and the Vikings before I buy back in.
Yeah, totally fair.
Um, that's where I'm at. Um, I really am interested to see how the Vikings do this Sunday. They've shown moments of really being poised. They just got to put it together, and I think they
And
can. But
strangely enough, they play better on the road. They're 1-4 at home. They're 3-2 on the road, so they play better on the road.
weird.
hmm Don't know what it is, but yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game. I would not be surprised if the Vikings won this game and try to give Vikings fans hope again. That's just how they've been this year, where it looks like all hope is lost, and then they play the Lions. They're like, "Whoa, where'd that come from?" And they get a really good win. They're like, "Hey, maybe there's a chance now." And then back-to-back losses where they should have won against the Ravens and the Bears. You're like, "All right, the season's over. Let's look what we can do in the draft. Hopefully develop McCarthy." And then watch them somehow pull out a win against the Packers. You're like, whoa, where did that come from? Do we have a chance? And then they'll probably lose next week. I think we play the Giants next week. Well,
That sounds
probably how
right.
that goes. So that's just how it goes this year for the Vikings. It's the roller coaster ride. We got to get on board. That's how it is with a rookie quarterback. All right, last but definitely not least, Eagles at Cowboys. Cowboys looked pretty decent last week, but that was against the Raiders, so I don't fully know how much I should put into that. Offense has been good most of the year. Dak Prescott's been playing on a MVP caliber level. He's not in that discussion, but most of the year he's played really well, playing the quarterback position at an elite level. 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That's solid. That's solid to good. That's a 3-to-1 ratio, like 3.5 to 1. So that's pretty good. 6 interceptions have been really bad though. Like some of those were really bad timings. Like against the Bears, he had 2 picks in the red zone, where if he doesn't throw those, Cowboys win that game. But he threw them. Can't do that. So he hasn't been flawless, but he's been overall really good. Javonte Williams, 800 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns. George Pickens has been phenomenal, 900 yards receiving, 7 touchdowns. They're healthy. They're playing better. They picked up Quinn Williams. They picked up Logan Wilson to stop the run. They've been impressive, and they're at home. But this isn't a good matchup for them. The Eagles' offense has been struggling a lot, but I think this is a semi get right game for them. I don't think they'll be able to run the ball very well, but the rest of the Cowboys' defense is bad. So I think Jalen Hurts in the passing offense is going to get going a little bit in this game. Of course, the Eagles still run the ball. They'll try. They'll be okay, but I don't think the lanes are going to be as open because of Quinn Williams. He's not going to get moved very much, but I think the Eagles' pass game is going to get loose in this, and the Eagles' defense is going to play really well, lights out, keep the Cowboys in check enough to win this game. I got the Eagles winning, and I got this as, let's see where I had it. Um, where are you, Eagles? There we go. I had the Eagles winning with a confidence of 7.
That is exactly what I picked, Andrew. Exact
This
same.
might be, this might be the first one that we're the exact same in all our picks.
Is it really?
I
I
think
guess
so.
so. I think you're right because even the top picks we differed by at least one or two.
Yeah, and that's only because I
Um,
always pick the Packers with confidence of 14 because it's always a win-win for me. It's always about me.
so for the Eagles, um, thinking about their schedule, I think that their two toughest tests as far as for the next 5 games is this one and the Chargers. I'm not saying the Bears
Mm.
won't be tough. I think those are the two toughest challenges, especially being on the road. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't love this matchup. I don't love the Eagles going to Jerry World. I think that they really struggle down there. And I really don't
Hmm.
understand why it's so hard for them, but it has historically, under Nick Sirianni, been tough for the Eagles to beat the Dallas Cowboys on the road. Now, the sun will be on our side, so that's good. Um, we're also facing him later in the year, which helps out. And it's great, Andrew. We're facing him in the same time window because it was a 2:25 start game as far as for when it was coming on. So let's see if that
Hmm.
helps out again. I mean, you know, please, Jerry, no curtains. Don't no need to put those up. Especially make sure that the offense of the Cowboys is going in the opposite direction of the sun. So, yeah, but I struggle with it because if the Eagles' offense was playing better, this would be a high confidence game for me.
For sure.
But the offense
For
has been
sure.
struggling so much recently
Hmm.
that it makes it a big problem. And I think they can do just enough to win. But we'll see what happens with the new defensive additions for the Cowboys. It's still a weird strategy. I don't understand why the Cowboys added the pieces they did because if they ultimately lose this year, it's gonna feel crappy that they made these decisions. I mean, Williams could still be good. I'm not saying he can't be. It's just very risky decisions. And um, if you don't make the playoffs as the Cowboys and you give up that second round pick, that really sucks because, if you're giving up one of the top 15 second round picks, so like a 45th overall pick, it's a really valuable pick that you don't have to work with
Hmm.
to be able to make things right. I know they have two first round picks this year because the Packers giving them one, which helps them,
Hmm.
but that's a tough situation. And yeah, I don't know. All that to say, with this game coming up this weekend, I'm still going with the Eagles. I'm nervous about how things go. Haven't been able to get the run game going. Have not heard about Cam
Hmm.
Jurgens. Have not heard about Lane Johnson, although my understanding is Lane Johnson will most likely miss this game in addition to at least three other games. So it's going to be some tough
Yeah.
sledding for the Eagles. Fred Johnson coming back was a lifesaver. If we didn't have Fred Johnson on our team right now, we might not have even won um, some of these close games. We might be
Yeah.
looking at more of a 5-5 team right now because our other options at right tackle were not good. They were not inspiring. Matt Pryor has never been good enough to be a right tackle for the Eagles. So I'm going to be watching the Fred Johnson situation. Brett Toth could very well be starting at center again. If that happens, it could be an interesting game for the Eagles. So this is the number two pick on
Yeah.
my list for upsets. I
Yeah.
guess maybe you could say Panthers, but it's two or three, and this is going to be one to watch,
Hmm.
which doesn't make me feel good. I wanted a nice, comfy, cushy game going into Thanksgiving.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes games are really random. Going back to
Yeah,
that Dolphins Bills game,
yeah,
division game, and you never would have expected the Dolphins to win, and the Bills just didn't show up, and that can happen to any team at any time.
yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So it's going to be an interesting game to watch on Sunday.
Yep. And this is going to be an interesting week for us because just straight up picks, not necessarily confidence. We're like, there's 14 games this week. I think we're probably like at least in 6 or 7 of those games opposite.
Well, let's see here. So the Panthers game, the Bucks game, the Chiefs game, the
Colts game,
Jaguars game,
Steelers game.
the Falcons game.
Hmm.
Wow, Andrew, crazy,
And
crazy.
I'll give you a little secret. I was going into this episode, had my picks already picked, but there were like 3 or 4 games where if you agreed with me, I was going to switch my pick live on this episode because I wanted to
That's
have opposite
lame.
picks to be able to have a shot at either getting destroyed or catching up. That's my only hope the rest of this week is kind of be a little bit opposite of you. Rest of
Mm.
these 5, 6 weeks, because if we're in lockstep, you already have it locked in. So I gotta be a
Yeah, I
little
do.
different. I gotta be a
But
little different. And luckily for me, we were opposite without me having to change anything. So I was happy about that.
listen, Andrew, I'm getting close to running away with the championship out of the five of us that are competing for picks. So
Well, I don't know. The second place team had 20 points against you last week, so
that's true.
they're not out of it against you so far. They're still kind of sneaking around enough. They're kind of like let's see, what's a good example? I would say almost like the Panthers and Bucks, where the Bucks are the
Mm.
better team, but the Panthers are like, hey, we're still hanging around. We're not going away. So that say something to watch. You can't slip up. You got a target on your back, and that number two team's like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm interested to see how this goes, Andrew. We disagreed a lot this week, and apparently it was by design. So congrats to you on disagreeing by design. We'll see how the rest of this week goes.
Yep, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, and we have like 5 more weeks of this, so excited to
Crazy.
see how it goes. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us in this episode of the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Be sure to like and subscribe, give us a comment or two, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.